Curt Mallory's weekly press conference as we preview the SIU Salukis this weekend. It's homecoming in Terre Haute. Indiana State coming off a loss to top five, fourth-ranked South Dakota last week. Coach, we'll just start off with the opening statement recapping the loss of the Coyotes and previewing the upcoming homecoming contest with Southern Illinois.
Well, disappointing loss. Didn't perform consistently like we need to. They're a good football team. Like the way we came out offensively. Had two nice drives. Would like to got touchdowns out of it, but got field goals. But like the way we came out, started faster. That was a positive. But obviously, as the game went on, we just gave up too many big plays. Can't do that to a fine football team like South Dakota. But on to the next. Had a good preparation start of the week yesterday. Plan on having another great practice today and continue on this week.
You mentioned it last week with your club and trying to urge and get off to a quick start. I guess a quick start is a long 7-minute drive. How much did you feel that? I know I asked you this after the game a little bit too, of if really those first two drives you had, again, I know you had issues stopping the big plays throughout the game, but man, if you just finish those two drives with touchdowns to start the game, especially that first one when you just – I had to look up at the clock and go, man, they haven't even touched the football yet, and you're almost halfway through.
Well, there was a lot of positives in that first drive. Good running, good throwing. I like the way Isaac came out and executed the drives on the first two. But you turn around and you give a quick score, a home run as we like to call it. You hate to see them, but as long as we took, it took them less time, and so they bounced back in a hurry, got a quick score, and then we sustained another drive, kicked a field goal. And then after that, we weren't able to do a whole lot offensively, and give them credit. They did a good job defensively.
You mentioned it, giving them credit. We've seen a lot of great talent this year. Chris Streveler's got to be up there as one of the best players in this league, if not the best players in this league. I mean, how much was Saturday? I know you wanted to see your guys improve in areas, but as you mentioned, Coach, I mean, tip your cap. That's a really good football team with a really solid offense.
It really is. Everyone we play is good. It's we got obviously this is the best conference in FCS. South Dakota is gonna make a run. They're as good a team as we faced. North Dakota State obviously as well. But Streveler, he's as good a player as we've seen all year. He's got my vote. He did a tremendous job throwing the ball, put the ball around the money. Wide receivers made catches, and he could beat you with his feet, he could beat you with his arm, and just a tremendous, tremendous player.
He's got my vote too. He's pretty good. Now let's look towards Southern Illinois, and the gauntlet really continues. Last weekend, Southern Illinois went in as an underdog to Illinois State, and Illinois State was never in the game. They dominated that game to a 42-7 win. When you watch that game on film and what Southern was able to do against Illinois State, who we saw 3 weeks ago, what impressed you the most about what Southern was able to do on their homecoming and really make it a great homecoming for their faithful in Carbondale?
They just did a great job, starting defensively, getting the ball back to the offense, whether it be on downs or on turnovers. And when the offense got the ball, boy, they made some things happen. Had some big plays, sustained some drives, and they just did a great job. Offensively, quarterback did a great job. Straub, executing the offense and putting the ball in the end zone.
I don't know if your paths have crossed with Nick Hill much. Of course, he played quarterback at Southern Illinois. He's experienced in this league, played for a head coach by the name of Jerry Kill, who, of course, has had so much respect on what he was able to build at Southern and ultimately going to Northern Illinois. Of course, being that quarterback and that offensive-minded, I don't know how much you necessarily go back and watch Southern from a year ago, but from what you've seen this year, how much improvement have you seen from them offensively and how good they are offensively because of what emphasis their head coach really has and his experiences as a quarterback?
Well, I've gotten to know Nick, throughout the recruiting trails. We recruit a lot of the same kids. Very much impressed with not only Nick, Coach Hill, and his staff, and how they conduct, how they work. But we just seem to bump into each other quite a bit in recruiting. But I know he's an excellent offensive mind. He's doing a tremendous job coaching the Southern Illinois team, and you can just see that they've made improvement week in and week out.
if it wasn't for what Chris Streveler did against us last week, Stroud would have been the offensive player of the week by himself. It wouldn't have been a shared award.
No question.
What did he do so well Saturday, but not really just Saturday against Illinois State, really throughout the year, where he's given Southern chances to – obviously they beat Illinois State last weekend, but even to go on the road and compete against a Memphis when a week after they upset UCLA.
Well, he can beat you with his feet. He can beat you with his arm. And he makes some really nice throws. Certainly did this past weekend as well as all week. When he runs the ball, he runs it with authority. You can see his competitiveness. He's not going to just take a knee or slide. He's going to try to run over you. So you see a tremendous competitor there, and it's showing the way he's carrying that offense.
It's been one thing this year that, thinking off the top of my head, special teams for the most part, you've kind of been able to avoid really big explosive plays. And when you look at Southern, what DJ Davis has been able to do from the special teams aspect and the kick return aspect, even though I don't think they've had yet a special team score this year, when you turn on special teams and you see what a guy they have in a DJ Davis back there returning kicks, of course preseason all conference for being a kick return guy, what type of skill set does he bring that just allows him to be so dynamic when he goes back to kick return, or whether he lines up in the backfield and will run the ball against you guys?
Well, they do a good job getting the football, and why shouldn't they? I mean, he can break it open any time. You see it on the offensive side when he has the ball in his hands, and you see it every time he's got the ball. He's got the ability to score. But he's elusive, he's quick, he's fast. He can make you miss. So he's a dangerous weapon that they have. And, we got to be aware of him at all times.
Defensively for Southern, they had to replace 4 starters on the defensive line last year. Chase Allen, who's now at the Miami Dolphins and being able to make it in the professional ranks. Where have they grown defensively throughout the year, Coach Mallory? I know you're a defensive guy and like to watch that side of the ball. What have you seen from them that, again, it's kind of some teams in the past couple of weeks have had this offensive focus that we look at, but why Southern, their defense continues to make strides and why there'll be a challenge on Saturday?
Well, it's a tribute to the program that they have. Obviously to hit the ground running like they have up front and defensively and getting the ball back and forcing turnovers. They've been able to develop depth, and that's part of building a program. When you lose 4 guys up front and able to sustain the type of defense that they're playing right now, that's a credit to them. And they're doing a great job up front, and that's always where it starts, up front defensively.
When you think of where you're at and trying to build this program, I was curious and I looked up what Coach Kill did, at Southern, and I know a lot of folks in Carbondale who may even be listening to this press conference have so much respect for what Coach Kill was able to do. His first year, they only win 1 game. Year 2, they only win 4. The rest of his time here, they made the playoffs and were a team that would win Missouri Valley Football Conference championships. How much do you really preach to your guys? I know sometimes that coaching cliche of trust the process, or it's a process, we're going through this together, we're building that culture, that foundation. I know it gets hard and difficult at times to keep the positivity and keep that morale high and keep pushing forward, but when you look at Southern and you see what their program was able to do with Coach Kill, I know there's been other coaches you've leaned on, such as your dad. When we talked about his win, I think winless year at Indiana, his first year. How much do you just kind of really try to hold those guys together and get them to realize, I know, trust me, we want to win this football game this weekend. We want to win every game the rest of our schedule, but knowing where we're at and knowing where we're going.
Well, absolutely. You mentioned Coach Kill. Got tremendous amount of respect for Coach Kill and what he's done. But Coach Kill would be the first to tell you he didn't do it alone. He did it with people. He surrounded himself with great men. Tracy Clays of the world. Those men were with him for a long time, and he did it with people. And much like I refer to my father, he surrounded himself with a great staff, guys that he knew and guys that were with him throughout good times and bad times. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're at a point right now where we gotta get dig ourselves out of a hole a little bit. We're back in the corner, but you know what? We got men in this program, players, coaches that are all together. They're going to fight together. They're going to win together and stay together, and that's where we're at.
when you look at this game and where you want to see your team make improvement, I know the keys really don't change much from week to week, but where do you feel are some of your major keys and points of emphasis this week, such as last week it was trying to start fast and flipping practice, or are the main points of emphasis this week for your guys, Coach Mallory?
You know, we're coming together as a football team. The score may not indicate that, but we got a close group, a group that cares about one another, a group that's going to play hard for one another. We got a lot to play for. We may not win the championship, we may not go to the playoffs, but it's about building a program. And we've got men in our program that care about Indiana State football, and they show it every day they come out to work. So that's the emphasis. Stay together, play together, and you know what? We got to execute. Everyone's got to own up to it. Starting with the coaching staff and then all the way down to the players. Everyone's got a piece of it, and it's not a finger pointing. It's hey, we are gonna get better, and we're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna get 1-0. It may be this weekend, maybe the next, but it's coming.
I think a big part of it too, Coach, is it's homecoming week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, here in Terre Haute, I'm sure you had many memorable moments at Michigan for homecoming, and it's an important week when so many alums are coming back, being able to support the team. I know with Tent City and everything going outside Memorial Stadium, it's going to be a really cool atmosphere. How much does it, I don't want to necessarily say, I don't know if help's the right term that I want to use in describing this, but knowing you're going to be in such a big environment with so many alums coming back to help keep your guys motivated and know, hey, keep fighting. You got all these people that are coming out to support you, and they trust in what you're doing and know you're taking the right steps in the right direction.
Well, it certainly shows what a great place this is, what a special place it is, and all the people coming back and how much they love Indiana State. Talked to the team yesterday. Homecoming will be for you. It will be a time for you to come back and enjoy the festivities. Our responsibilities this week are to go to class, go to the pep rally, to practice, to go to the pep rally on Wednesday, and prepare to win the football game on Saturday. And then 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, however it is, you come back and you enjoy the festivities like your teammates right now. But it'll be a fun environment. I've heard so much about it. I'm excited and privileged to be a part of it. But we got a game to play, and we want to represent our program and make all the alumni proud when they watch us play on Saturday.
Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck against the Salukis.
Okay, thank you.